cool. So guys, you are here for Wellness Foreplay. This is actually episode number 23. We are so excited about it too. The way we do our episodes and the reason why it's Wellness Foreplay, spelled F-O-U-R, is because we pick one topic and then we select 4 questions that we answer about that topic each time we do an episode. So first of all, why are we here?
We're here.
Who are we, by the way?
We are Dr. Dondi and Marcy Nettles. We are your host for the Wellness Foreplay podcast. And we put out these episodes to do nothing other than to educate you and empower you to be your best healthcare advocate so that you can rely on your own authority and have better conversations with your healthcare providers, the ones that you choose to work on your behalf, rather than being ignorant and only going by what they say. You're actually involved in the situation. That's the entire focus of this podcast.
I absolutely love it. So by the way, I am a former police detective and you are?
I am a former family wellness chiropractor.
And so we decided that we were going to bring our expertise together to be able to come up with the knowledge that we know is the foreplay that you need for your optimal wellness. So today in episode number 23, this is going to be a really interesting topic because we're actually going to be tipping some sacred cows, pun intended, right? Because it's all about cow's milk. Does it really do a body good? We've got some great questions and some great information we're going to be bringing to you. And some of you guys, by the way, are going to have your socks knocked right off because you've been, drinking cow's milk your whole entire life. So
some of you are not going to like what we say today.
You know what, though?
I guarantee it, because it goes against what we were brought up to believe.
Yeah.
It definitely goes against everything I was brought up to believe.
So I just challenge you, have an open mind and just think about this from a logical standpoint, okay? Because we're really going to be able to help you with some common sense stuff when it comes down to cow's milk. So the 4 questions that we're going to be talking about today are, first, it's going to be, does drinking cow's milk really do a body good? Second, why is cow's milk not good for human consumption? Third, what are some of the frightening facts about milk? And fourth, what other milk alternatives are there and options for calcium and bone support? Okay, so guys, this is a really interesting topic, especially for me. And by the way, guys, for those of you that are already like, oh, I don't know about this.
Right. But I love my milk. I love my ice cream.
I was you. I was exactly you.
No, it isn't so.
Seriously, because I was actually raised with grandparents that owned a really big dairy farm in southern Idaho. And I remember going and playing with the calves and having the fresh milk that was just milked and making butter and all the different stuff that we did with that fresh milk. And now I'm looking back and I'm learning these new things. And yeah, at first I was like, oh gosh, no, that can't be. I love it so much. But now the new information has really kind of changed my outlook, but also the way my body feels. So I'm excited for you guys all to get this information. Let's see if we can get some fun stuff going on here that we want to have going on. So question number 1, does drinking cow's milk really do a body good?
And the answer is yes, if you're a calf.
Oh, dang it.
If you're a calf, it absolutely does your body good. That's what it was meant for. I mean, think about it. Why do cows produce milk? Because they're pregnant and they have a baby calf coming, and the baby calf needs nourishment. The exact same reason why humans produce milk and every other mammal produces milk, because it's for the nourishment of the baby of whatever the species is.
For their own baby.
For their own baby.
Right? For their own baby.
Yes.
So really the answer is no.
No.
It's not. That's actually a catchphrase that was coined by an industry that has made $1 bajillion. A bajillion or more.
How many
dollars.
Commas?
I have no idea. It's just a good word.
It's
so a bajillion.
A bajillion.
Off of those of us that, believed them, that drank milk and are still drinking milk, right? So just know that no, cow's milk is not something that you should be consuming. It is something that people are making a lot of money off of you drinking. And yet there's a lot of reasons why you should not be drinking it. As a matter of fact, the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, recently asked the US or the UDSA to look into the scientific basis of the claims made in the milk mustache ads.
I need to correct you on something.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's actually the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, typing.
Yeah. USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, okay, thank you for that. So, and their panel of scientists actually came back and said milk doesn't benefit sports performance, and that there's no evidence that dairy is good for your bones or prevents osteoporosis. In fact, the animal protein it contains may help cause bone loss.
Calcium density loss. Can
Can you believe that? It's exactly opposite of what you've been being told your whole lives.
So those commercials that said got milk, they should be saying got osteoporosis.
Eek. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
True story.
Okay, so you wanted to share some stuff about breakage, like bones and all that kind of stuff from your experience. You were saying something more about that.
Well, there's this university. They're called Harvard. You know, those wicked smart people over at Harvard. Well, they did a study of women, nurses specifically. It's called the Nurses Health Study. Harvard followed 78,000 women over a 12-year period, and they monitored their milk consumption. And what did they find? They found that women who consumed the most calcium from milk actually broke more bones than those who rarely or ever drank milk. Pretty interesting. And they went on to say, this study, they call it the Lunar Osteoporosis Update, explained this increased risk of hip fracture was associated with dairy calcium. If this were any other agent other than milk, it would have been so aggressively marketed by dairy, or it has been so aggressively marketed by dairy interests, it undoubtedly would be considered a major health risk factor. So says Harvard University. It is got osteoporosis is what drinking cow's milk gets human beings.
Yeah.
The more they drink, the more, not only that, the more obese they will be as well.
That just makes me sad. It really does. It makes me sad because I remember in elementary school, the little milk cartons, make sure you've got your milk. Yeah, it's so good for you. Good. Make sure you've got your milk. And that extra 15 cents that mom was spending every single day back in the day, it's not quite 15 cents anymore. All around a myth.
Well, it was yes, and a very, very good marketing campaign from the United States Department of Agriculture and the United States Dairy Industry, the United States Dairy Council. And there is such a thing. And I did see one of our live viewers on Facebook. She actually had a really good point. And I do want to address this. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, we want you to know that, hey, we are doing these investigations and we're coming together with the information that we can find that is the best for you in order to make the best choices. And one of the questions or one of the comments was that that dairies kill their milk by pasteurizing and homogenizing, thank you, their milk. So I agree with you completely. There is a difference between real milk and dead milk. Dead milk has been completely changed completely, but it's still coming from a cow. Yeah. Well, and the whole reason for that back in the 1860s, thanks to Louis Pasteur, and the whole process of pasteurization is they take milk and they cool it to 39 degrees Fahrenheit. So for you people that work with Celsius, I don't know the conversion factor, I'm sorry, but they take it at 39 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit. They rapidly heat it to 161 degrees Fahrenheit, and then they rapidly cool it back down to 39 degrees Fahrenheit. What that does is it kills off all the bacteria. It kills off the negative things that are in the factory farming nature of producing dairy milk. And so it's now supposed to be safe, but it does kill off most of the nutrients. And there are nutrients in milk. I mean, that again, why does a mother cow produce milk? For the nutrition to her calf. It is very nutritious. It's just not meant to be consumed by humans.
Yes.
Because what do human babies do? They drink mother's milk. I remember having a conversation with a patient back when I used to talk about this all the time in my practice. And she said, and I asked her, would it be okay if you squirted human breast milk on your cereal in the morning? She's like, oh, that would be gross.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you hear what you just said? But it's okay to squirt cow udder milk on your cereal? That's not gross. And then she goes, well, I guess I never thought of it that way. And that's the entire point. Most of the time we don't think about whether it's healthy or not. We just go buy it because it's available. And we see that Superman has a milk mustache.
All right. So let's move into question 2, because that moves us right into question number 2. And question number 2 is, why is cow's milk not good for human consumption? Okay. So first of all, just from an evolutionary standpoint, milk's just kind of a strange thing for humans to consume.
Drinking cow's milk. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Just the normal biology, right?
I mean, think about it. Normal biology, normal physiology. Human beings are the only animal that drinks the milk of another animal. That's the first problem with the biology part of it, the physiology part of it. And then we go further. We continue to drink it past the age of weaning. Does a calf go back to its mom and start drinking milk again after it's figured out what grass is? No. Human beings do that. We are the only animal that drinks the milk of another animal and continues to drink that milk past the weaning process. Both of them defy biology. And we have an enzyme in our body called lactase that breaks down lactose. Have you ever heard of anybody saying they're lactose intolerant? Most people are lactose intolerant because we don't make the enzyme. Why do we don't make the enzyme? Because we're not supposed to be drinking the thing that needs the enzyme.
Yeah.
We stop producing it by the time we get to be about 5 years old.
Yeah.
Hello, it's just biology.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound crass or act like anybody listening to this is they're ignorant. They're not dumb. They're just ignorant. We were sold a bad bill of goods. But if we think about it from a common sense, biology, physiology perspective, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because we shouldn't be drinking it.
You actually made a really good point there, because it does say in the research that we did look at that the majority of humans naturally stop producing significant amounts of lactase. That's that enzyme, right? That's needed to break down the sugar that's in milk, really. That's the lactose, is the sugar that is in milk. But that we do produce that enzyme up until about the age of 5. And so one of the things that I just wanted to point on really quickly here is that, it's hard to be a breastfeeding mother sometimes. It really is. And sometimes we have medical conditions or problems to where we can't produce enough milk for our babies when they are babies, right? And so there is at times a need to supplement with other milk for our children. And so just know that they still have that capability to produce those enzymes necessary to be able to break down that sugar that's in the milk. And so if you are a mother, I just want you to know that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. We know that there are issues at times to where breastfeeding is difficult. And so if you have to supplement when your baby is a baby, we completely understand that.
Yeah.
There's no judgment whatsoever.
None whatsoever. Let me add to that. This is where raw milk comes into play.
Yes.
And the dairy industry, the United States Department of Agriculture, wants to tell you that raw milk is it has not been pasteurized, meaning it hasn't been literally heated up to kill the natural nutrients that are in it, the bacteria. Some of the bacteria that is in milk is necessary. It's actually good to create the microbiome in your body. So for the women that have struggles producing their own breast milk, raw cow's milk can be very good for a child. And this is where getting it has to be organic. No antibiotics, no growth hormones, grass-fed cows. And here's the thing. Where do you think cows get their calcium from? What they eat, the green vegetation that they eat. And here's another thing. When cows factory farming, we'll call it factory farming dairy cows, they eat grains, they eat corn, and they eat byproducts of their own industry. None of that is what they would voluntarily eat in the wild. They're given that because that's all they have. And that's why they eat it. In the wild, a cow is a grazer. It goes through meadows and eats grass. Grass-fed cow's milk, organic grass-fed cow's milk with raw milk is okay. and actually can be healthy, but we still lack the enzyme lactase to break it down. So again, if you're drinking that kind of stuff as an adult, it's your choice, but it does defy biology. But like Marcy said, for women who can't produce their own milk, it is a great alternative.
Yeah. So, but the normal process is that we normally stop producing those enzymes by the age of 5. And so it makes it very difficult for our bodies. And that's why a lot of people have such a reaction or an allergy to milk itself, is because being lactose intolerant means, you're not making that enzyme necessary to break down the sugar in milk. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's, definitely. And then let's see here. Okay. So one of the points that I found was that our bodies just weren't made to digest milk on a regular basis. Instead, most scientists agree that it's better for us to get calcium, potassium, protein, and fats from other food sources like whole plant foods, vegetables, fruits, beans, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and seaweed even.
Yeah.
So there's other alternatives out there to be able to get all of the nutrients that you need to have a strong, healthy body and those strong, solid bones.
Now it's going to take a little work. It's probably more expensive, but it's also so much better for you. And you're eating things your body was designed to eat and not eating things your body was not designed to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Now we're going to get into question number 3. And this question number 3 is actually, it's pretty scary. Some of the stuff that has been shown in here. So this is question number 3. What are some of the frightening facts about milk? Okay. Eek! All right, so I'm going to read you a list of things that have been scientifically proven to be a problem for people that consume that 3 glasses of milk a day that is recommended.
Let's talk about that.
Okay,
where did that come from?
Okay,
so if you've ever seen this,
well, talk about what it is for our listeners.
The food pyramid. Okay, so the food pyramid from the United States Department of Agriculture. The website is no longer active, mypyramid.gov, but they come up with what you're supposed to eat, right? Well, under the milk or dairy section, 3 cups per day is the recommendation for children over the age of 10 and adults. 3 cups per day of milk or dairy.
3 cups.
It makes me cringe.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so let's talk about this. What are some of the frightening facts? Milk drinkers that have at least 3 glasses a day have an increased risk of prostate cancer and ovarian cancer. Guys, that's huge. Drinking milk may trigger type 1 diabetes through molecular mimicry. Milk drinkers have a higher rate of multiple sclerosis and increased IGF-1, that's insulin-like growth factor-1, that has been implicated in several cancers. There's an increased cholesterol level in human and animal studies and atherosclerosis in animal studies. The milk protein casein is found to promote cancer by a carcinogen in experimental animal studies. D-galactose has been found to be pro-inflammatory and promotes aging. You know, an interesting thing about D-galactose is that there's a higher concentration of this in liquid milk. Okay, so drinking milk. But they found that in fermented dairy products, it wasn't as prevalent, and that there was actually some benefit to fermented dairy products, like a fermented cheese or a fermented like yogurt. Okay, so found some very interesting things on that. Drinking milk is also linked to acne. It's implicated in constipation and ear infections. Oh my gosh, if you have a young child that has recurring ear infections and they drink milk, this is something you most certainly must be looking at, okay, is being part of the cause. Let's see here. It's the most common self-reported food allergen in the world. And much of the world's population, 75%, as a matter of fact, cannot adequately digest milk due to lactose intolerance. Now,
because they don't have lactase.
Yeah, seriously. Now, those are all of the really frightening facts on a human consumption standpoint. We do want to talk a little bit about now the environmental
impact of the dairy industry. Okay. So think about the life of a dairy cow. And this is where most people
Can I say one thing before you move into that?
Sure.
This is based off of dairies. We're not talking about somebody that has 1 or 2 cows, okay, that lets them go grazing and eating. That's the way that, that would be perfect. But we're talking about the huge dairies that are out there. So go ahead, please.
Well, think about what a cow goes through, okay? A mama cow. She gets pregnant. She's got a calf. The calf is born. The calf nurses. That's what the milk is from, or that's what it's for. And they have a wonderful bonding relationship under normal circumstances. That is not the life of a dairy cow. A dairy cow lives on average 4 years. A cow in the wild can live up to 20. So they're living about 20% of their lifespan potential because they are absolutely worn out after 4 years. What happens? So this dairy cow, and keep in mind, the mother produces milk for the calf, and they have 1 calf. But the dairy cows are typically producing 10 times more milk than their bodies are designed to produce from the 1 calf they gave birth to, which, by the way, after that calf was born, within 12 hours, almost 100% of them are taken from their mother. And they never drink cow's milk. They drink powdered formula. Think about how off that is. So a baby taken from its mother within the first 12 hours of life, almost 100% of dairy cows go through this. When they're female cows, they end up just like their mom. When they're male cows, they end up in little crates to become veal. Okay, so, and this is stuff you can easily look up, but let's just look at the environmental impact, not to mention the animal cruelty that goes into this. And then they artificially inseminate that mom cow. So she keeps having a calf, and when the calf is born, the next year, they take it away within the first 12 hours, artificially inseminate her again. When the calf is born, they take it away within the first 12 hours, and they go through 4 cycles of that. Well, guess what? While that entire 4 years, the mother cow was producing 10 times more milk than her body was designed to produce based on the 1 calf she had that was taken from her, and her body's pretty much spent after 4 years, and they go to the slaughterhouse, and it ends up in the butcher place where you go buy your beef. That's just the animal cruelty part of it and the unnatural life that a dairy cow goes through. Let's just talk now about the water consumption, okay? We're getting ready to get into summer. We hear about things like droughts and water scarcity. Get this. All these statistics I'm going to share with you are from the United States Department of Agriculture. So if you go into your butcher, you go into the meat department and you buy a pound of ground beef, do you realize it took 1,849 gallons of water to make that 1 pound of ground beef? 1,849 gallons of water to make that 1 pound of beef. The average American consumes 88 pounds of beef per year. Multiply that times the 1,849 gallons, it ends up being 162,712 gallons of water per person per year in the United States because of the beef that they eat. Now, think about this. Now, dairy cows obviously drink water. The average dairy cow drinks up to 40 gallons of water per day. Times 9.4 million dairy cows, that's 1,410,000,000 gallons of water per day consumed by the cows, and that's just here in the US.
Wow.
Now, obviously, what about the waste? The average dairy cow produces 60 pounds of waste per day.
And he's being nice in what he's talking about.
And where does that go?
He's talking about cow poop, guys. Cow poop.
Where does it go? It goes on the ground and it piles up and it goes into the groundwater and it goes into the soil contamination. 60 pounds per cow per day times 9.4 million dairy cows just in the US alone. And we wonder why we have global problems as it relates to our air quality, our soil quality, our food quality, and all of that stuff is a major, major contributor. And one of the last things that blew me away, again, according to the United States Department of Agriculture, it takes just 200 cows to produce as much nitrogen in the sewage that it would take 10,000 people to produce. We're talking about a major environmental impact. We're talking about major animal cruelty. We're talking about a major problem, all stemmed from the fact that human beings are being led to believe that milk is good for you. Cow's milk is good for you. So it's all based on a sham. It's all great marketing, and it all is dangerous to us as human beings, dangerous to the environment, dangerous to the cows, and it's just flat out uncool. The way we look at it. And I haven't drank milk in over 20 years. But again, raw milk for women, for people that want, I mean, there are some good qualities to milk, because obviously what it isn't designed to do, it's designed to take a little baby animal, whatever it is, and grow it up into something that can fend for itself and eat past the weaning process. It's not designed to be consumed anymore. Those are just normal ways of looking at normal biology and physiology as it relates to cow's milk.
All right, let's go ahead and let's get us moving on to question number 4.
Yes.
And question number 4 is, what other milk alternatives are there and options for calcium and bone support? Because now that we've totally blown your mind and we've tipped your cow,
sacred cow. And gave you some sour milk to go along with that tipping of the sacred cow.
Let's give you some solutions and some resources, some alternatives.
Give you some hope, some good news.
And we've got some great ones here. And the first 3 are really the ones that we use the most in our house. So there's almond milk. Okay, almond milk, it has a light, sweet, nutty flavor. It's low in calories, low in fat, and carbohydrates. So that's a great alternative. You can use it in just about anything. And then I love coconut milk. Coconut milk. I love the flavor of it. And you
a little more carbs in it, but it's good. It's amazing. A little more fat.
But you know what? Your brain needs fat.
It does need fat.
And being a vegetarian, I need good fat, right? And so coconut milk works really good for me. So coconut milk has a creamy and milk-like consistency and a sweet coconut taste. It contains no protein, a little to no carbohydrates, and is high in medium chain triglycerides, which is good for your brain. It's a type of saturated fat. So that is the first 2. Now, the third one that we use here in our house is oat milk.
Love oat milk.
I love oat milk too. So if you like to have cereal or if you like to eat oatmeal with a little bit of milk on it, this is perfect. It's a little thinner consistency, but it has a mild and sweet flavor. It's high in protein and fiber, but it's also high in calories and carbohydrates. So you have to kind of still watch how much you're consuming, right? That's why I like to mix it with the different milks. Oat milk contains beta-glucan, which can help lower cholesterol and blood sugar levels. And, you know, it's, again, one of our preferred options. And then there's 4 other options we have here for you because we wanted you guys to have a plethora to choose from. So rice milk is another good one. Rice milk is the most hypoallergenic non-dairy milk. So if you have lots of allergies, rice milk is definitely one that you should try. It's low in fat and protein, yet high in carbohydrates. Now, soy milk. I stay away from soy myself just because of issues I've had on the female side, right? Because soy, it increases
estrogen.
Yes, estrogen. Okay. So soy milk is made from whole soybeans or soy protein isolate. It has a creamy, mild taste and is the most similar in nutrition to cow's milk. So soy milk is often seen as controversial, though drinking soy milk in moderation is unlikely to cause harm. So just know, if you like the soy milk, go for it. Cashew milk.
Yes.
Cashew milk has a rich and creamy taste and is low in calories, carbohydrates, and sugar. On the downside, it contains very little protein and may not be the best option for those with higher protein requirements. Now, the last option that we have here for you guys is macadamia milk. Macadamia nut milk, okay? Macadamia milk is a relatively new milk to the market. It's made from macadamia nuts and has a rich, creamy taste. Macadamia milk is high in monounsaturated fats and low in calories and carbohydrates. So it's really good, a good option there too. So just pick one, go try it. If you don't like it, try another one. There's lots of different options.
I'm going to add 2 to that.
Go.
List. 2 that I've had and I really, really like. Hemp milk, which is a good source of protein as well. And also quinoa milk. So which is different varieties. Like you can find them at Whole Foods or Sprouts, or, you know, if you go to your normal or your regular health food store, you might find them too. They're not as common as the ones that Marcy's mentioned, but they're very, very good. Hemp, and actually the cool thing about it, it was they put like a tie-dye cover on the box, so it looks kind of like Grateful Dead Jerry Garcia-ish for the hemp milk. Obvious connection, deliberate marketing, but I thought it was pretty creative.
Yeah. So I love all the different options. So guys,
now,
look.
Can we talk about what happens when you freeze this stuff?
Oh, when you make ice cream,
Yeah,
when you make
because that was the hardest thing for me.
All the yummies.
Because I love ice cream.
Yeah.
Like love ice cream.
Or pudding even.
Pudding,
I
not
love
so much. Pudding's not the way I love
my
ice
chia
cream.
seed pudding. You love my chia seed pudding that I make with coconut
I
milk.
do.
Yes.
I do.
Right?
I'm not doubting that. I just said I like ice cream more.
Okay. Yes.
So there are amazing. So I wrote down because I think ice cream, cashew nut milk and macadamia nut milk are the ones and coconut milk. I love ice cream made from that. Also, when they throw some avocado in there for the good fat, it's really, really good.
Yeah, anything that's got avocado in it is yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, so there are so many options out there, and there's actually a lot of frozen options in the stores to where you can get your sweet fix using a milk alternative, and I don't even want to say it's a milk alternative because they're all milks, right? It's just different than cow's milk. And your body's going to love you for it. Okay.
I'm remembering a conversation I had with a patient many years ago when she was like, well, what am I supposed to do to get calcium?
Yeah,
I was like,
good question.
Where do you think cows get their calcium?
Mm-hmm.
Cows don't drink cow's milk. No. They get it from the vegetation that they eat. You can do the same.
Yes.
Go to the produce section and buy all the dark green leafy vegetables. You're going to get plenty of calcium. Yes. She goes, really? I'm like, really?
And then there's some other options too that you can add in there. There's the sesame tahini.
Yes.
That will give you some good calcium and bone protection.
Mm-hmm.
Sea vegetables. How about sardines and salmon? But eating the bones is good for you too.
Yeah. I was just recalling the tahini mess we had in our pantry.
Oh gosh.
When we dropped that container and it went everywhere.
It went everywhere.
But it was fun.
It's not fun to clean up. Just eat it. Don't let it get all over the floor and other stuff in your pantry because that's not a good time. Okay, so guys, again, this is just going back to something that I commented on before. I wanted to make a note here at the end to make sure that we covered it again. But if you have to feed your child formula from milk, don't worry, okay? The milk in infant formula is hydrolyzed, or broken down and easier to digest. Okay. It can still cause allergies if your child is lactose intolerant there though. So once your child is a year old, you can just switch them over to one of these alternatives that we just shared with you. So I hope that we didn't make that too difficult for you. I hope that it made some things kind of a little bit clearer for you on why drinking the milk from another animal is not a benefit to a human body. And watching all of the advertisements on TV and on print ads and all that kind of stuff, guys, just know that people make money from those. And
think of who puts those ads out.
Yeah.
The United States Department of
Dairy
Agriculture.
Association.
The Dairy Council.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're wanting to make money.
Yeah. So just know that there are so many different options out there for you that are better for you, that are going to help your body with its digestion process so much better. And it's going to help you have better, beautiful, glowing skin.
Yes.
So just all the way around.
Better insights.
Yeah. All the way around. The answer to the question of today's topic, of episode 23, cow's milk. Does it really do a body good? No.
If you're a calf, yes.
Yeah.
No. Elsewhere.
Human bodies, no.
Not so much.
It doesn't. So guys, thanks so much for joining us. Please reach out to us, dondiandmarcy.com. Let us know if you have any questions about today's episode or if you have suggestions for future episodes. We'd love to hear them. Plus, if you have any specific questions, you want to know what our biohacking daily regimen is, or anything else we've talked about on previous episodes, please contact us there at dondiandmarcy.com. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We appreciate every single one of you, and we can't wait to see you again with episode number 24
and for you,
wellness.
Yes, and for you cookie people, it's okay to dip your Oreos or your Chips Ahoy or your oatmeal cookies in something like oat milk or rice milk or coconut milk or almond milk. It's amazing.
You're going to love it.
You're going to love it.
It's all good.
It's going to take some getting used to, but you're going to love it. You're going to thank us for it.
Yes.
Okay, have a great day, everybody.
And go have some coconut milk frozen bars right now. They're so good. Dipped in chocolate. Baby.
Good stuff.
Just not milk chocolate.
Dark chocolate, preferably.
Dark chocolate. Bye, guys.
See ya.